Hey guys, BovineSuperHero bringing you an OU battle today against Seton. If you missed my last OU battle against Hysteria, you should go check that out. It's on my channel. I may leave a link to it in the description if you want to look at that. But the rest of my opponent's side of the field are going to be the Axers because it has massive attack. And he is going to be able to baton pass a sword stance to it with his ninja, it is just going to start ripping holes in my team because I do believe that a +2 outrage from admin hackers is enough to 2-hit KO Scissor, which is my only resistance to outrage. And Scissor's bulky, but it's not that bulky. He does go for 2 sword stances, as I go for rocks, and then I go for a U-turn on the second turn to break a sash. I go out into Scissor to threaten him out with the bullet punch, which I do go for, even though the switch into Ferrothorn or the Chandelier was painfully obvious. I still went for bullet punch because if he did expect me to go for a U-turn, and I went for it, he could set up a sub as I U-turned out, and then he could still baton pass the sword stances and speed boost into the Haxorus, which could start just ripping my team apart. But after I do go for the bullet punch on the Ferrothorn, I switch out into Tyranitar as he sets up rocks, and the switch into Tyranitar was like, hey, buddy, I have the Fire Blast, you better switch out, but I don't capitalize on it. I don't go for a double into Celebi expecting him to go into Conkeldurr, because he could have gone out into Chandelier, but I didn't really expect him to, but I didn't really want to risk it because if he could have gone out into Chandelier, gotten the Flash Fire, or if I did have the superpower, which I was trying to scare him out with, he would be immune to that. But then he does have his Chandelier in on a Tyranitar, which is just not good for him. But he brings in his Conkeldurr, eats up the Fire Blast, does nothing because Tyranitar is really not invested in special attack, and Conkeldurr is just super bulky, but I do go out into Landers to get the Intimidate off on him, and I go for a U-turn into my Scissor to scout whether he has the Ice Punch or the Payback, but he just goes for another not bullet punch, he goes for another bulk up here, which really just puts me in kind of a predicament because now I know that 2 Drain Punches are going to kill me, or the combination of a Drain Punch and Mach Punch. But I go for a bullet punch instead of superpower. Even though superpower is stronger, it would lower my defense, so I wouldn't be able to take this first drain punch he goes for right here. It would just straight up kill me, and 2 bullet punches are stronger than 1 superpower. If you factor in stab and base power and everything, but he's able to take me out with the 2 drain punches. I'm surprised he didn't go for the Mach Punch on the second one. Maybe he was just kind of a good player, because he obviously knows Conkeldurr is not going to be outspeeding a Scissor any day. But he does go for the Drain Punch. He's sitting at enough health where my Celebi can just come in right here, go for the Psychic, take out Conkeldurr right away. No more threat of Conkeldurr anymore to just wreak havoc on my team. And my Celebi does not really take any damage, just takes rock damage. He could have gone for the Mach Punch to get a little bit of damage off, but it really would have just kind of been pitiful damage. Right here, he goes into Chandelier. I'm expecting him to predict my switch into Tyranitar, but I don't care, because outside of something like Specs HP Fighting, he's really not going to be touching my Tyranitar with any attack. Here he goes for Energy Ball, but look at that damage. That really does nothing against Tyranitar. And now I go for a Pursuit as he tries to switch out. If I were him, I probably would have stayed in and go for another Energy Ball because I thought the Pursuit was pretty obvious because I think I could just take out Chandelier with a Pursuit even if he stayed in. So I would have stayed in just to get a little bit more damage off, but I guess it didn't really matter. I go for the Ice Beam on his Donphan, and he does just go for the Rapid Spin. Maybe he didn't expect me to have Ice Beam, but nowadays a lot of Tyranitar are running Ice Beam. Especially, he saw the leftovers too, so he should know I'm not obviously not choice locked into Fire Blast, and there's no such thing as really as Specs Tyranitar, but I go for the Crunch expecting the switch. I don't know what I expected to switch in. Everything he has does get hit harder by the Ice Beam, like this Haxorus would have taken a huge amount from Ice Beam, which it would not have taken. I wouldn't say Crunch wouldn't do anything, but Crunch would definitely do less than the Ice Beam would on this Haxorus. So here he goes for the Brick Break, takes out Castform. Castform is a reference to my friend Tommy, because Castform is his favorite Pokemon. He thinks it's awesome. He thinks it's the best Pokemon in the world, which I can't argue with. Castform is a beast, but I go into my Landorus to get the Intimidate on the Haxorus, and go for the Earthquake because everything on his team is still grounded. I should have gone for the U-turn because that just would have been an overall better play. His Ferrothorn was probably going to come in, which it did. It's not going to take too much from the Earthquake. U-turn, I would have switched right out of there, gone in my Terrakion and cleaned up the game with Scarf Close Combat, but it still works out. He goes for Leech Seed as I set up Rocks, I think. Did I? No, I don't think I set up Rocks. Maybe I did. Which, if I did set up Rocks, that would kind of been dumb. Seeing by how much health he has, it looks like I did set up Rocks. That was kind of dumb. He does just have the Donphan, this, and the Haxorus left, which are really not going to be taking too much from Rocks. I should have just gone for an Earthquake, but either way, he goes for a Thunder Wave. I can see his point in going for Thunder Wave, expecting me to switch out into Terrakion. Maybe he didn't want his Power Whip to miss Terrakion, because if I switched in and avoided a Power Whip, I could just like sweep his team. But if I switched into a Thunder Wave, that would not be good. I would just get paralyzed right there, and my chances of the sweep with the Scarf Close Combat would just be like in the toilet at that point. But so right here I have to stay in. I just keep going for the Earthquakes. He misses a Power Whip here, which is unfortunate. Seeing by the damage of the first one, looks like Power Whip would have taken me out there, but in the long run it doesn't really matter because it just kind of would make the game a little bit shorter, which I guess it doesn't now, because I would have just been able to switch right into my Terrakion and go right for the close combat, but he does just die right there after kind of lowering my Landorus a lot with the Leech Seed and Power Whips, but he does go for the Ice Shard with Donphan. It's easily able to take me out. It's 4 times super effective, and I was kind of low with Landorus. Seeing how his team is structured, Donphan does seem to be defensive, so I think if I was at full health, he could not have taken me out with that Ice Shard, but he goes for the Ice Shard here on Celebi. Seeing by the damage, it does confirm that he's defensive, because that really does not do that much. Even though Ice Shard does have load-based power, it's still super effective. Donphan does have a respectable attack stat at 120 base attack, but Celebi is also bulky. I am able to take him out with the Giga Drain, and after I recover some health with that Giga Drain, I am going to be around the same health I was at, but not as quite as high. He goes for the Dual Chop here with Haxorus, his last guy. He definitely should have gone for the Outrage. Outrage would have taken out Celebi, and it's also just more powerful on whatever I wanted to switch out into if I did want to switch, but I do just stay in with Celebi, get off a huge hit with Psychic. Psychic, I'm not even invested in special attack, but that did a lot with Psychic. Haxorus is just wicked frail, I guess. But he is able to take me out with the next Dual Chop. He does not miss or anything, but I still have Scarfed Terrakion, able to go for the close combat, finish off the game. Good game, Seton. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up button. If you disliked it, also hit the dislike button. I like to get the feedback. Leave a comment, rate the video, and subscribe to see more content. Have a good day, guys. That's all we have for this video. See ya.